What is up? It is Jimmy, and today I finally have the C8 SFW file. So this has been requested for a really long time, and I did make it in LDD on stream. So I am going to give this away, of course, for free as usual. And before you go download the file, I would of course recommend that you watch the video to get filled in on how to make this gun in real life and some problem areas that it could possibly have, but I don't think it has any. But let's just get onto it. So, back here on the stock, we have the lever, which can have a rubber band around it. So you can put a rubber band around the stock, and then it'll push on this, so it won't just drop down when you're trying to have the stock locked. But other than that, it should retract back. The rubber band attachment for the trigger is just as usual as all the other ones. Rubber band goes behind the trigger, above the rollers, and onto the pin there. Then we of course have the magazine release, which needs the spring from the Technic suspension pieces. And if you don't have one of those, I'm pretty sure you would be able to fit a rubber band on the outside here using some studs. It would work, at least I hope. The bolt catch, of course, works as usual. There's no flaws with the bolts like there was on the Honey Badger, so that's good. The attachment for the rubber band is, of course, on the inside here, somewhere. I believe it is here. There it is. So, it depends on the size of the rubber bands you have. If you have quite big rubber bands, then it would be good to use it like this, but you can just move this piece around, move this piece closer, but just make sure that it doesn't sacrifice this area, because this area has to be built pretty much the way I have built this, because it needs to be really sturdy. And I believe this is really sturdy. It's about the same thing that I used in real life. But when it comes to having the M26 on it, you may want to just hold on to the M26 because it might be heavy enough to break the whole handguard, which would of course not be good. So as we get on to the M26, you can realize that there is technically no rubber band attachment point, which is on purpose because you're supposed to use the trigger and the magazine release to hold the rubber band. So they have a shared rubber band, so it goes under the trigger, then over here, and under here. But I do recommend that you put it through here, then pull it on over, then under the trigger. Make sure that you don't put it on top, because then it'll just pull the trigger back, but it has to go under this rod and on this 1x2 piece in here. So it'll probably be kind of tricky, and it might break a couple of times, but just take a deep breath and it'll be fine. And then you'll be rewarded with having a magazine that angles in and locks in perfectly and does not wobble whatsoever. And I can say this because I made this in real life and it did not wobble, and it was super nice. There are the barrels. If you want, you can of course make some attachments. And you can optionally make these rail covers, but of course you don't have to. It's just if you want to make it look like Buck's C8. Now for the magazines, you can't really use this mag in real life. It would probably just sag down. So that's why I've made this magazine, which you would of course clip together, and you might have to put a strip of tape around the front or the back. But that is to be expected with Lego, since it is very unsturdy and there's not a lot of choices. So one last point is the grip. The grip might be unsturdy. I'm not too sure, since I'm not able to make this grip myself. But huge credit goes out to Asher Replicas for this grip. It is insanely good looking, and I do believe it to be very comfortable in real life. So if it turns out to be kind of unsturdy, you can just put some Technic through here, and then some 1x1s with holes, and attach some pins to make sure that it is sturdy. But sadly that would be quite hard to do in LDD, so that's why I haven't done it. but it should be sturdy enough as it is, and if it isn't, then you may want to reinforce it with some tape, if you don't mind using tape. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on this. If you guys do end up making this gun, then let me know down in the comments. Then I'll go check out your video and maybe leave a like or subscribe if it is really cool, which I would expect it to be. So that's pretty much it, and the MK47 mutant file will come soon, and sadly I might have to delete some older files, so if you guys do want some of the files that I have out right now, then go grab them, because I may have to delete them to make space, because the way I have my files be shared are on Google Drive, and I only have so much memory on there. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys. Goodbye.